Welcome to another connection here on TKO8 Television. I'm Dennis King. My co-host Tabitha Odegaard couldn't be with me today. She has to work her real job, and she had to fill in for someone else, so she couldn't be with us today. She'll be back again on the show next week. We're glad you joined us today on Connection. We do a show every week on Tuesday. We have different organizations and individuals come into our Studio B, and we do a show that's a community show, really, to keep people informed of what's going on around our viewing area, different organizations doing different things for you, our viewing audience out there. We're going to take a quick break, be back in a moment, and talk with Tiffany Watkins about a big golfing event coming up around the area on Connection.
Connection is brought to you in part by Ben Eddings Auto Group, where you're a customer once and a friend for life.
Ben Eddings Auto Group in Harrison, Arkansas is your destination for a new or pre-owned car. Did you know that shopping for a car or truck can be a positive experience? Meet the professionals at Ben Eddings, where service and satisfaction are more than just words. See for yourself why so many people in the Ozarks keep coming back to Ben Eddings for all their auto and truck needs, including maintenance and service.
Ben Eddings Cadillac, Buick, and GMC, where you're a customer once and a friend for life.
Start spinning, twisting, and pumping into a healthy lifestyle 24 hours a day at the Fitness Club. With all of the best equipment and personal trainers, you're ensured a workout that's fun, effective, and motivating. At the Fitness Club, you can enhance your glow, relax your mind, and refresh your body all in one convenient location. So what are you waiting for? Start spinning, twisting, and pumping your way into a new you today. Enhance your lifestyle and reach your goals at the Fitness Club, Highway 6265 North in Harrison.
Back on Connection here on TKO8 Television, and our first guest in the studio today is no stranger, Tiffany Watkins. Thank you, Tiffany, for coming over and being with us today. You just run all over the place.
I do. I'm everywhere.
You got offices in every town.
I do, right? I always have a home, no matter where I go in North Central Arkansas.
Every community you go to. Well, I've got an office in this Arvest building here.
Exactly.
Tiffany, marketing director for Arvest for this area, and she covers a lot of, well, she basically covers all of our viewing area and all of the different locations. So
North Central Arkansas, and even up in West Plains.
Go to West Plains now. We actually have viewers in West Plains and Gainesville area.
Good.
So that's very good. Big event always for you, a big fundraiser, and actually this event is something that if you're into golf, it's a very fun golfing event, and it helps a lot of different organizations, and we're going to talk about that with Tiffany in just a moment. So pay attention to the dates, and if you want to be a sponsor and so forth, we're going to talk about that and deadlines coming up as well. Okay, the big Arvest Bank tournament this year, a little different. You got you a key big sponsor along with Arvest.
We were very thankful that Clay Maxey Ford was a tournament sponsor this year. Very, very thankful for him, because that certainly all of that goes to our charities this year. So we're looking, we had a record tournament last year raising $12,000.
Wow.
So we're thinking it will be more than that this year offer with our tournament sponsor, and so we're shooting for $15,000 this year, and I think we're definitely on pace to do that. We're having a record number of sponsors turn out and just a great turnout. So very excited for our 3 charities this year, which is the Yellville Area Food Closet, West Plains Rotary Child Weekend Backpack Program, and then Children's Charity Ministry that's based out of Harrison but serves several counties in our area.
They do cover several of your counties that you're responsible for.
Yes, and so we actually did our process to get our nominations in April, and our committee of associates had the hard task of going over 40 to 50 letters of applications back in April to narrow it down to 3, and it's not an easy task, and I'm glad I'm not the one that has to make the decision.
Gosh. You get 40 to 50 different applicants.
We do.
Wow.
Across North Central Arkansas, and we try to spread it out between our counties and make sure it's fair, and obviously, really our only requirement is that they have to be a 501c3 and then not receive funds from the tournament the previous year.
Okay.
Otherwise, they're pretty open, and so we kind of had a theme this year of food and hunger. Charities definitely wasn't intentional. It just kind of worked out that way. These are the 3 charities the committee really felt strongly for, so we were excited to to have them as our recipients this year.
Well, Yellville Area Food Closet, is that like a food bank over
it
there
is.
in Marion
It's
County?
like a food pantry,
Okay.
and it actually serves Yellville, and then Flippin doesn't really have an official food pantry, and so they have people coming over from Flippin as well to get that, and so
Wow.
they serve a lot of people. I think they've been established since 1990, so been there for quite a while in the community.
It says like more than 275 families each month.
Yes.
That's a pretty big
You know,
pantry.
unfortunately, Arkansas is #1 in the U.S. for food insecurities, and
Yes.
it's unfortunate that we have to have so many of these food organizations, but we're so lucky in our area that we have them, and people see the need for them and to help our neighbors. And so this is just an example of one of them that they're there. And that's I mean, if you think of Yellville, it's not a very big town, and that's a lot of families coming just to that one
That
food.
really is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a big community there.
Right.
Children's Charity Ministries, we've actually had them on here on The Connection several times and talked about they have a great program.
Oh,
here.
yeah,
And
they do.
again, they cover a lot of different counties, basically everything that you're covered in this area.
Yes, and it's incredible. If you don't know what they do, I definitely recommend stopping by their thrift store and talking to their executive
Yes.
director, because you might just think they have that thrift store, but behind, the back office of the thrift store is really where it all is happening, as far as all the food and hygiene packs
Yes.
they're putting together for kids in school, going out to schools when counselors or nurses call, and getting food and meals together for kids that just don't have food or a way to get it. And so incredible local organization. And then West Plains Rotary Child Weekend Backpack Program, kind of similar to what Children's Charity Ministry does as far as getting backpacks together and getting food for kids during the school year. When they don't have access to school lunches or breakfast, they'll have some food to take home with them so they're not hungry through the weekend.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And that's something that their Rotary Club has put together, and so very, very fortunate to have those in our area and as our recipients this year.
That's very good. Let's talk a little bit, Tiffany, about your sponsors. What do they get? What if somebody wanted to sponsor?
We have two different levels of sponsors.
Okay.
We have a corporate sponsorship, which includes their logo on arvest.com/NCA, which is our tournament web page. Has all the information. It's live now, so anyone can go out there and see your logos listed on there. You'll be included on all the team mailings, plus you'll be on the big corporate sponsor banner that's at the tournament, and in any of our handouts, and then of course we verbally recognize them at the tournament. So we try to give as much recognition to our corporate sponsors as possible, and that's $250. So not really a whole lot, and all of our proceeds from our sponsorships go directly to the charities.
Okay.
That's not really used to offset any costs of the tournament.
Okay.
So it's a good tax write-off.
Sure.
As well, because it is going to all the charities. So $250 for that sponsorship. We would like to get those wrapped up by July 31st, just to make sure we can get you in the team mailings and you get the full advantage of the corporate sponsorship.
Uh-huh.
And if you are wanting to have a team with your corporate sponsorship, we offer a $25 discount on your team fee if you're a corporate sponsor as well.
Okay.
So kind of an incentive if you wanted to play and be a sponsor as well. And then we have whole sponsors, which you get your name listed on the website. You're listed in all the tournament mailings and handouts. And then we have the business logo on a whole sign that we place on the golf course, and then you're recognized at the tournament as well. And it's pretty incredible. We usually start our whole sponsors kind of this time of year, and we had some associates really jump on it this year, and we already have 79
Wow.
whole sponsors, which
Really?
is a huge record for us. I think
God.
last year we had just over 54, which is a record.
79 whole sponsors already. My goodness.
So we were pretty excited about, and it's just $50. So if you're a smaller business, that's a great way for you to support the tournament and show your support by having your sign on the course. And so, again, July 31st for all those would be great, just to make sure you're listed and everything. like our team mailings that we're going to be trying to get out here pretty soon.
It's going to take you most of the day to put out the signs.
I know. We're going to have like 5 or 6 golf carts going around. We're going to get there at like 4 a.m.
Well, if you've got 79, probably you'll pick up more before the end. You could very well have 100 hole sponsors, which is fantastic.
Right.
I mean, just in itself, not counting the corporate sponsors.
Our goal originally was, I think, 64. And so we beat that. So now our new goal is 90. So we'll see if we can't get it.
Wow.
So still time. If you want to be a whole sponsor and be part of our record, then
this could be the record year.
Exactly.
Very good. That's nice. Let's see here. What I was going to ask you here. Okay, we talked about the committee, and well, let me ask you this. So how did you, this is the 18th year.
Yes.
How did you kind of get this start? How did Arvest get involved in this?
Of course, this was before I came over here,
okay.
But they started actually from when it was Bank of Yellville, is where it originated from, and then Arvest continued it on. The associates, this is really an associate organized tournament, and it's just really a great way for us to give back, and it's a fun event. It's a fun event to come, and if you're a golfer, even if you're not that good, it's
just
still
a two-person scramble, right?
Two-person scramble. We've changed it a little this year as far as the tournament format. We're going to do 2 tee times, an 8 a.m. and a 1:30 p.m. Our biggest complaint, which is a good complaint, is that we have too many teams and the pace of play is slow.
Yes.
We have a waiting list typically for teams to get signed up, and so it's a good problem. But again, we're trying to improve it every year, and so we're going to try to do the 2 tee times.
Split tee times. That's probably a good idea because it'll speed up play.
Yes, and so we're really going to try to cut it off at 40 teams per tee time just to keep that pace of play. Like you can get in, play within 4 hours or less is the goal.
Right.
So you're not having to be there all day, versus 6 hours if we did one tee time in the morning. And
that's actually pretty good because when you're doing a scramble like that, if you can keep it to 36 to 40 teams for each one of the flight times, you've got a couple teams on each hole, which is not a big deal.
Right.
That's basically four on each hole except for a couple, and it moves along a lot faster.
Yes.
When you try to put 8 people on a hole,
it bottlenecks, and everyone plays at their own pace. There's some that are faster than others, and so that was our biggest complaint, which I said, it's a good one, that we have to have so many teams that we have to go to a 2 tee time. So we're really looking forward to it this year.
Now, what's the cost for the team?
A team is $140
for 2 people.
For 2
so
people,
$70
yes.
Okay.
But you get some goodies kind of that come with that. That includes, of course, your green fee. You get 2 mulligans per player, and plus each player gets 6 raffle tickets. That's all included with your team fee.
Okay.
So we kind of wanted to make registration go a lot smoother this year, and it's kind of a one-stop shop. You get registered, you have all of that ready to go. Of course, if you wanted to buy extra raffle tickets throughout the day, you certainly can do that. And then if you need a cart, like if you weren't going to bring your own, that's an additional $20
per cart.
So it would be $160 if you needed a cart. But again, it's kind of nice to include all that. Some tournaments, it's just that's your fee, and you don't really get all that. And of course, we have snacks, breakfast, lunch.
Oh wow!
A really nice tournament hat.
You get a lot for
that. And plus, all of the proceeds from that go right back to the charities.
We got about a minute or so left. If people want to sign up for this, what's the best way to sign up?
They can go to arvest.com/NCA.
Okay.
All of our team entry forms are out there. Or they can call me at 870-449-7164. And our tournament is August the 23rd at Twin Lakes Golf Course in Mountain Home. So we would like to have most of our teams signed up by August the 15th, just to make sure. Okay. I wouldn't wait.
Well, it looks like you're going to be full. If you're doing 40 teams and 40 teams in the afternoon.
And we might flex a little on that. We're just, again, trying to keep that pace of play pretty good this year. So.
Well, it sounds like you got it all under control again, Tiffany. We appreciate you coming in and talking to us. We try to get you every year to come in.
Yes, well, I appreciate it.
It's a great event, and the charities out there that are the recipients of the money that they raise, and they're going for $15,000 this year. Could be another record year, and I'm sure you'll reach it. So thanks for all your hard work and giving to these organizations. They're definitely needing funding out there, and we appreciate you coming in. Good luck with the tournament.
Thank you.
And I'll see if I can get a partner and come over and play.
Yes, please do. We'd love to have you.
Thank you. Tiffany Watkins with Arvest Bank talking about their big 18th annual charity golf tournament. It's coming up very soon. Try to get signed up by August 15th if you can. It is on August the 23rd, Twin Lakes Golf Club over in Mountain Home, and you'll have a lot of fun. It goes to a great cause. We'll be back in a moment, and we'll talk with a couple of guys about a new organization around here on Connection.
Connection is brought to you in part by Ben Eddings Auto Group, where you're a customer once and a friend for life.
John and I enjoy the trips to see the kids and grandkids, and now more than ever, we needed something comfortable to drive. When we need a car, we head to Ben Eddings Auto in Harrison, Arkansas. We selected a beautiful Cadillac CTS with style, spacious comfort, and safety features that both of us fell in love with. When our car needs maintenance, Ben Eddings always has unrivaled, professional, friendly service that we truly appreciate.
Ben Eddings Cadillac, Buick, and GMC, where you're a customer once and a friend for life.
We came to Arvest Bank to see what makes it different.
There's branches everywhere.
Throughout Oklahoma and Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas.
There's an Arvest branch within 2 miles of my office in any direction.
I can literally go down the street and still make a deposit.
There are Arvest everywhere. I can get popcorn, suckers, and friendly smiles.
There's as many locations as there are kernels of popcorn in this bag.
Whatever branch I'm in, they treat me like it's my bank, like it's my small town branch.
Arvest Bank. Our customers say it best.
Back on Connection here on TKO8 Television. I'm Dennis King. My co-host, Tabitha Odegaard, couldn't join us today. She'll be back on the show with us next week. She had to do her full-time job today, so she couldn't be with us on the show. Our second guest today is George Holcomb, and we're going to talk about something a little bit different. George, thanks for being on the show today. We appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me.
You appreciate it very much. You had dropped off some information here at our studio and asked that I give you a call, and I knew a little bit about this coming up, this project that you're working on and just kind of in the infancy stage. And it is a part of the Boone County Hometown Health Coalition part. Why don't you tell a little bit about it? It's called the Boone County Recovery Project. Maybe
right.
Just kind of well, first of all, I guess kind of what's your mission? What's kind of the mission of this thing?
Well, the idea is to put together the resources the community has for dealing with people who are recovering from addiction.
Okay.
And I think everybody knows that addiction is really expensive. It costs the community a fortune, not only in law enforcement costs and labor costs, but just in the fact that families don't function right when there's drug abuse in them or alcohol abuse. And we're trying to make it as easy and as conducive as possible for people who have decided to make a change in their lives to do so. It's a big step to lay down a habit that you've maybe had for 40 or 50 years. It's a big step, and it's very difficult for people to do. We're just trying to kind of stack the deck as much as we can in their favor by getting the people who want to help them in a position where they can.
You know, we TKO8 Television, for those out in the viewing audience, I'm sure at some point in time in 1998 we actually worked a deal with the judge at that time was Judge Rob McCorkindale, the circuit court judge here, and that was really when methamphetamine was really starting to just be a major problem. Had already been a problem in the metropolitan areas, but it was moving into small town America like Harrison, Arkansas. And so we asked Judge McCorkindale if we could bring our cameras into Friday plea and arraignment court, which is all felony related things, and he agreed to on a test basis, and we did it for about 90 days. And what we were doing was trying to get the public aware, particularly of drugs and alcohol abuse, and how it touches so many different aspects of our society. Even if it's not directly drug related, it's usually indirectly drug related, whether it has to do with assault charges, or burglary, or kidnapping, or child abuse, or whatever. There's usually something there.
Right.
And so anyway, long story short, we started doing that, and people saw it and realized we do have a problem. And then through the years, of course, it's grown like in anywhere across the country. The one thing that I see that I think this is a good project for is that, a lot of people that do get into drugs or abusive with alcohol or whatever, if they're charged with a felony charge, even if they don't serve time in the RPF or the Department of Correction, there's still that over their shoulder that they've got to deal with.
Right.
And nobody got them there, but they got themselves there.
Right.
But they've also got to work to get themselves out of it. And whether it's trying to find a job, and some places won't hire as other people that have got felony charges, others do. But it's a real battle. You've got to climb that ladder again.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very difficult.
It does. It puts a person in a really deep hole.
Yes.
Because they're just carrying an extra burden. These are folks who kind of had problems to begin with.
Correct. Yes.
And now they're, trying to compete, and a lot of them have a really hard time. Some of them, let's face it, drug abuse has serious effects on a person's ability to function physically, mentally, intellectually, morally, and spiritually. All that stuff is damaged, and your relationships to your family and your friends have all been damaged. And then let's say that you end up spending a stretch in the county jail. When the day comes when you're released, they shake your hand and say, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody needs good luck, but
Yeah.
some people need more than that.
Well, need more than that, yeah.
And that's one thing we're trying to accomplish here. We hope that when we get this thing moving, that when a person who has gone to jail and has then recognized that they've got to change something, that when they walk out that door, they know how to begin changing. They know who to call, where to go. Most people, when they're released after being jailed on a drug charge, within 48 hours they're back with their old associates,
Yep.
back at the same old stand, doing the same old stuff. Not necessarily because that's what they want to do, but because that's all they know to do. Everybody's got to be someplace.
It's funny you said that, George, because Jim Bumgardner, who works with me here at the station, we actually were talking about that a few weeks ago. And he said, one thing about what happens is people, they get out of jail or get out of prison, and usually the acquaintances that they don't need to see again are the first ones to be there again. Right. So they get back in that revolving door again. Yeah. We're really apologize. I've got a little.
That's all right.
A little bit of head go. But if you actually could put these people in some other community, if they didn't come back to the same place, it would at least give them a chance. Not that they'll make it anywhere else, but it gives them a chance to not get back in the same little box with that same group that got them where they are today.
Right.
And they do. These are a few things here. We want to move along on this. I like this part of it. It says, why become a recovery-friendly community? And just a few key things here. Bad debt and bankruptcies. Of course, usually you lose everything if you've had anything and you get into that situation. So obviously if you can slow it down, you cut back the bad debt and the bankruptcies. The uninsured, they're mostly uninsured, so most of them are going to be on some type of a government program if they can't get a job.
Yeah.
So we're still going to pay for it.
Right. At this point, this is a really, I talk about, when a person's, been a slave to a drug habit for years, they've dug themselves a really deep hole. The problem is that they're not in there by themselves.
Right.
We're all involved.
Yeah, we are.
And it's costing
whether we want to be or not. We are.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. And, of course, obviously we just talked about a while ago, domestic violence decreases substantially if you can get them away from the drugs and alcohol and back into a sane environment, if you want to call it that. They lose their families. People don't even think about it. They lose their children. Many times they can't even have custody of their children or can't see them because there may be a child abuse situation that has happened because of the drugs or alcohol or something along that line. So,
and when you talk about children, Dennis, there it comes in again because they've analyzed what sort of things push a person into drug abuse. It's not always just for fun, It's about half of it is hereditary.
Right.
other factors that are really important are physical and sexual abuse.
Yes.
And having come from a family where drugs are being abused.
Right.
Those all contribute to the likelihood that a person's going to end up being an addict.
Yeah, and you're right. If they grow up in that situation, many times the next generation and the next and the next, they just follow suit.
Right.
You see them. And
right.
And actually, I can say that I don't always go to court on every Friday, but through the years, I have seen it evolve into the next generation and maybe even the third since 1998.
Yeah.
And then if not, you may not see some of these people for 5 years or 6 years, and all of a sudden you go, well, that's that same person that was in here, and they're right back in the same situation again.
And it's children of the future.
Yes.
And I guess it's important to us that it not look too much like the past in some cases.
If somebody want to get involved in this, is there I know you got a lot of different agencies, and a lot of people are going to be involved if they're tied in with any of these other agencies. But are you getting ready to have a meeting on this, or is you going to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
We are. We're going to meet August 7th.
Okay.
At 10 o'clock.
10 a.m. Okay.
A.m. at the Duran Center.
Okay.
We meet every month or two.
Okay.
And the meetings are well attended. We usually have at least 100 people there. These are people who are all interested, who are all ready to do something. And we're starting to get some things put together now.
Okay.
We're also starting to get inquiries. We get people who call and say, look, I understand that you've got this new mission, and we know somebody who needs help. We're finally in a place now where we can answer those calls, and we can't do a lot at this point. We don't have a residential care.
Right. But at least maybe you can funnel them in the right direction.
We can kind of send them to an anonymous group, or we can send them to a mentor who can help them. See, another thing that happens is people come out and they haven't had a regular job for a long time. They don't know how to go interview for a job, or that they're supposed to show up, So we're doing some mentoring and some education. That's one of the steps. You've got to have 4 things in place. You've got to have treatment. So you detox a person and you give them some treatment so they begin to recognize what's going on.
Yeah.
You've got to have clean and sober housing, because if they go back to the same place, you and I both know what happens.
Right. We got about a minute, so.
Okay. You've got to have training and education and mentoring. You have to encourage these people and show them that they're doing okay, that they just need to hang on and build a new life, and that it's not easy. And fourth, you have to find them employment. You have to help them get a job. And some people don't know the first thing about it, interviewing a job or keeping a job.
So this is kind of what you're trying to do with this whole thing. We have run out of time, and I apologize, but we've run out of time. I do want to mention this, and I think this is important, that if you're out there in the viewing audience and you want to get involved in this, it's called the Boone County Recovery Project. Ties in with a lot of things, but it's all important for our community. Mark your calendar. Thursday, August the 7th, 10 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. will be at the Duran Center in Room B down there. So go down and see what's going on, George and all the group that will be down there, and they can answer questions for you.
Yeah, come in and visit with us. We'd love to have you.
Thanks for coming in, and actually get back with us a little later once this thing's going, and let's bring people up to speed
I'll sure
on this
do
thing.
It, Dennis.
Thank you so
Thanks
much. Appreciate
million.
it. George Holcomb here today talking about the Boone County Recovery Project. Thanks for joining us on Connection this week. We hope we brought some information to you that you might not have known about, and join us each week as we have different groups and organizations come in. It's a part of being connected.